Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Sound Design Lab. My name's Hakobo and today I'm going to be taking you through a very exciting sound that I created that I'm particularly excited to show you. It sounds something like this. So I think it's super cool to show you kind of an example of what it sounds like in a song. I'm going to show you the same clip that I showed in my Grady Bass Swamp video because it utilizes it well. So super cool, and I'm going to get right into it. Now usually when I show you a song, or a sound, I don't try to have a lot of post-processing EQ or distortion, but unfortunately with this sound we are going to need that. But it's not too much, although it might look like it at first, but I'll take you through exact numbers so you can follow suit with me. So let's jump right in. We're gonna go ahead and have this init patch, and right here I'll just do it anyways, even though I know it is already. So perfect, right there. Also made it a little bigger for you guys so you can see properly, and I won't ever use a skin or anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and go up to here and make it a basic shape. And then we're going to go ahead and turn on oscillator B and bring it to, I think that's basic word or ward or something like that, I'm not sure. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the octave up of the oscillator B to 3. And then we're going to bring the level all the way down, because guess what? We're going to be bringing it to FM from B. So you can go ahead and turn that on now if you want, but I'll do it in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and make our first LFO, which is pretty simple. You just bring this top part to the third line, and then you bring this up right here so that this intersects with the bottom of this box right here. It's the second row of boxes, the second box down, and it's the bottom right corner of that box. And then you're going to bring this line right here till it intersects right into the middle, right through the middle of this line right here, in the middle of the grid. And then we're going to go to trigger, and then we're going to knock it up to 1/8. And then we're going to start putting it on things. We're going to bring the level all the way down of oscillator B, throw our LFO on it, and that just cleans up the sound quite a bit, so that when we do play it, you just hear a sine wave, and that's kind of it. But then we're going to go ahead and turn on our good old friend FM from B, because what is a dubstep sound or a wobble without that? We're going to throw it on there, and we're going to crank it up to, or crank it down, I guess, to 40. So then we kind of have that bass vowel that we're looking for. And then we're simply going to turn on our noise, and we're going to direct out our noise, which means that it won't be affected by any of our effects in our chain, because we're going to do a bunch of EQing, and we don't want our noise to be that sharp. So then we're going to go, let's see here, I did in harm 6, and then we're going to just turn down the level all the way and drop our LFO right here, and I think I have it to 15. Let me double check. Actually, I have it set to 20. And there you go. So you have a very basic setup in terms of the oscillators and the LFO, and this is pretty much it. The only thing we now need to do is EQ the crud out of it so that we can get more of our highs, and we're going to start with the in-house EQ, and we're going to go ahead and crank this up to about 1200 right here on the frequency. Q we're going to bring down to about 55, and then the gain we're going to bring about -12, and we're going to go ahead and click the notch right here, and it's just going to take out some of the frequencies that I kind of found problematic. And then we're going to go ahead and leave Q the same. We're going to leave the gain all the way up, and then we're going to go ahead and put the frequency at exactly 10,000. Now, if you haven't selected it already, I talked in my other video, the double click for typable values on controls setting in your global is invaluable. So I would recommend using that. Back to EQ. So we have a little bit more here, but we're going to be using a lot more EQ on this. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this on our first channel and kind of take you through all the EQ I do. You're going to need about 2 instances depending on how your EQ works, because I am layering boosting in near different channel or different frequency ranges, so it just works out better that way. So you can see right here that I have a ton of boost in the highs, gives it tons of bite. So yeah, this is with both instances, so it gets to where we need it to be, but I'll run you through each and every one that I've changed. So for this little part right here, I came out to 325 hertz and I lowered it down about 4 decibels. And next to it, at about 785 hertz, I lowered it about 8 decibels. And then over here, at the 2000 range, and I'll even move it over a bit. Oh, that's not, I didn't want to touch that. I'll move it over to 2000 exactly, that's close enough. And I boosted that about 18 decibels. So if you don't have an instance where of EQ that goes that high, I would recommend using 2. And then over here at the 8,250 hertz range, I boosted it about 10. So that's everything for that instance. And then in the second instance, I just did a little bit more. I boosted the 2,450 range or 2,400 range. It works to about 4 decibels. And then I went over to right here to the 4,800 range and I boosted that about 5 decibels. And then at 12,000 hertz, I did a roll off, because even though I'm boosting a lot of the frequencies right here, I just want this 10,000 range to 8,000 range to really be what benefits from that. I don't want all this crazy white noise clipping or just overtaking the sound. So I actually roll it off right here from 12,000 to about, I would say 16,000 is where this, 15,500 is where this cuts off right here. And that really kind of completed the sound for me. Although usually I try not to use any FL Studio native plugins. I was a little unavoidable with this, but I'm pretty sure Ableton has an equivalent of it, or whatever DAW you're using has some sort of overdrive or some form of distortion that you can throw on. And I actually didn't even touch any of the knobs. It just kind of gave it some of that. Without it, it just kind of gave it a little bit more bite, a little bit more presence. But if you don't have anything like an overdrive, I'm pretty sure you can just boost the highs a little bit more and achieve the same effect. Something else that I forgot to show you guys is if you go into your LFO and just kind of bring this over here, make sure this is on 1/2 or so, you can bring this up to your semitone, and then on your oscillator B, not your oscillator A. Well, just depends if you want the sub to go up with it or not, but it doesn't really matter because I kind of like just a steady root note depending on how much movement I'm putting on. Not always, but for the most part. Bring it down to 20, and then you'll see that when you play the sound, it brings it up in pitch, or you can just kind of bring this down to a square. Yeah, so that's a super cool thing you can do to modulate the pitch. So the sound works very, very well with any form of reverb. And if you notice in the song that I showed you, I actually used reverb between the phases of the synth coming in to kind of introduce the next part of the synth coming in order to give it more, I guess, introduction, or I'll just show you. So you'll notice at the end of the phases, the reverb leads up and introduces the next part of it, and I feel like it just helps it to hit harder. So yeah, it's a very cool sound that I'm a very big fan of, and I hope that you put it to way better use than I do, because I slack off on my harder songs. Although I will be trying to release some music in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this, even though it's kind of a basic setup for sound, although effective. Alright, have a good day.